Had to get your attention. Welcome back to another weekly Monday press conference. It was great seeing everyone on campus this past weekend. Aggie Pride for that, right? Aggie Pride. Great to be playing another week of football as well. North Carolina A&T will head down to Bowie's Creek, North Carolina for the first time. They will take on the Campbell Fighting Camels at 4 p.m. for their homecoming. So another homecoming for North Carolina A&T. Our special guest this week, our linebacker, Cade Molitor, will join us later. And we also have freshman running back Daniel Coles. But before we get to those guys, let's talk to our head coach, Mr. Vincent Brown.
Aggie Pride. Aggie Pride. So I shared this with our staff the other day. I said, you guys don't know how incredibly challenging it is to come up here on Mondays after having the kind of season that we're having. It's very challenging. Some of the things that we're going through, I didn't anticipate. Some of the adversity, but I'm built for it. I'm built for it. And in my mind, it is stay the course. Stay the course. Stay focused on the development of our players, okay? Making sure they become the absolute best they can be on and off the field. Stay focused on providing them with a great experience here. When they leave here, they want to come back and say, of my life were there at North Carolina A&T. And then staying focused on building. And we build our program through recruiting, making sure that we share with the young men around the country, particularly on the Eastern Seaboard, North and South, what a great product we have here at North Carolina A&T. Understanding that recruiting is the lifeblood of our program. I literally just left a meeting with compliance talking about the new transfer portal windows and how the windows will impact our ability to replenish our roster. And so it's with great understanding that I know that I depend on so many layers within the university community to be able to make sure that we're getting the absolute best in terms of recruiting and the support for our players. It's also challenging to talk about what happened 48 hours ago when we've literally started preparing for the next opponent. For those of you that were there, you saw it was a 2-score game at the beginning of the fourth quarter. 2-score game. And in my mind, I had great belief that we had the ability to score 2 touchdowns within a span of 15 minutes. There are some challenges creating explosive plays for us. We had difficulty moving the ball. We were 2 of 14 on third down offensively, 2 of 14. And as I shared with our staff, some of those third downs were very makeable, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. So we have to do a better job of finding what it is that we do best and exploiting the weaknesses of the opponent in order to make those first downs. That keeps the chains moving. That keeps us moving down the field. So even if we don't score, we flip the field position. Defensively, we gave up 4 explosive play runs of 20 yards plus. 4. Some of that missed gap fits. Some were just missed tackles at the 2nd and 3rd level. And we work, we focus, we drill tackling ad nauseum. It is the core of what we do defensively, beating blocks and tackling. And again, it's very disappointing when we're unable to go out and execute at a level high enough for us to win the game. But as I said to our kids, look, there's a lot of football left to play. Yes, it sucks being 1-6 right now. It really does. But we got 5 games left to play. And 6-6 doesn't sound so bad when you look at where we are right now. But it has to start with this next game. It has to start with this next game. And as I've said throughout the course of the season, there are no waiver wires. We got who we've got. And so we have to find a way, to the best of our ability, to put our players in position to make plays and score offensively and defensively to keep the opponent from scoring points. I think even in spite of the way that game ended, there are some bright spots ahead for our A&T football program. You'll see a couple of our younger players here today. Daniel Coles, who I think is going to be a tremendous running back, had the chance to showcase some of his skills. Cade, who's a second-year player, our leading tackler defensively, really kind of evolving into a leadership role there. Jalen Hicks got on the field for the first time as a ball carrier and showed he's got a skill set that can help us. And so understanding that we have some young guys that are being forced to play right now. But my hope is that their development and the things that we're going through right now will pay great benefits going down the road. And so now it's on to the next opponent, okay? Hampton is behind us. It is on to Campbell. Another CAA game. Have to go on the road against a quality opponent. There are no easy games within this conference, but it is a very winnable game. And so as we've started our preparation, it's always about the who and what that can cause you to lose games on their team, and how do we minimize it from impacting us offensively and defensively. So we're in the very early stages of our preparations, our scouting report, and planning on how to go on the road and win a CAA game against Campbell University. So with that, I'll open the floor for any questions.
Coach, in light of the way the game transpired Saturday, did you have any conversations with the chancellor or your athletic director immediately following Saturday's game?
I did not. But the AD's right here, so.
Coach, you guys came out of the gate with a lot of momentum, defensively, special teams, offensively. It was all clicking. Was there a point in the game specifically that you felt kind of the mood shift? And did your sideline be able to stay engaged in the game at that point?
Yeah, I think our kids stayed engaged. There's a lot of emotions throughout the course of the game. A guy makes a mistake, and then one of the veteran players jumps him, and then he claps back at him. So there's a lot of emotion. I felt like our guys stayed engaged throughout the course of the game. Like I said, if you look at the score at the beginning of the fourth quarter, we're down 2 scores. You would not think the game would end the way it did. And so our guys stayed engaged. I felt like we had a chance to, early on in the game, if we could have just put together some more drives to have that breakout game that we've been looking for offensively. And, we were able to take advantage of the great field position early, but we weren't able to take advantage of when we got the stops defensively and to be able to move the ball down the field to score again. And, it's a very different game if you're up 4 scores early in the game versus 2 scores.
Have you been telling your guys to hold on to those first little bit and take that positive going forward into the next part of your season?
Yeah, you're always trying to find the good and the lessons, the negative that can help you down the road. There are lessons to be learned from good and bad, whether you win or lose. And so, you look back at, hey, we have the ability to create explosive plays. Look at this. We need to execute like this more. We need to call plays like this more. When your number's called offensively, you need to be able to rise in that moment. And defensively, understanding the things that cause you to lose games, and it's explosive plays. So, like I said, we gave up 4 explosive play runs. We had an explosive play pass thrown over our head a couple of different times, and then missed tackles.
Coach, you talked about building blocks for the future of these young players. What do you hope they take confidence-wise, being able to get into these games and make big plays like they did?
Yeah, I think confidence is born of demonstrated ability, and so when our players, especially our younger players, are able to go out and show that they're able to compete at a high level, as in most cases, true freshmen. Daniel Coles was in high school 11 months ago, got here in January. Okay, Cade is a second-year player. We didn't have the benefit of taking the young players and redshirting them all and developing them over the course of a couple of years. So, as I say, we have who we have, and we're going to play the players that we think will give us the best chance to win week in and week out.
Just cause you to
like this also, Coach. Can I ask you? I just want to bring up a meeting and see you and I talked the other day. I can't ask questions.
No. Questions for me only. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was the
No problem.
Hey, Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm wonderful.
Good.
I guess based on the way you're struggling since last year, does this make you reassess some of your, recruiting strategies? You go heavier with recruiting players in the portal now, just to kind of make up for some of the losses?
Yeah, I mean, our strategy really hasn't changed. Given the recruiting cycles that we've had, we haven't had a chance to overhaul the roster. If you think about the kids that we actually were able to recruit were last summer's class and this past winter's class. And so, I truly believe our focus should be high school recruiting and development and filling in holes through the transfer portal. We brought a lot of kids on campus during the last recruiting cycle, transfer portal kids. And for whatever reason, we were unable to land some of those kids. And the ones that we did, we felt real comfortable about. We felt like they would come in and help us. Justin is playing for us right now. We've got a couple of others that we anticipated playing that unfortunately aren't available right now. So I think as college football evolves, the balance of younger high school players and transfer portal recruiting becomes a key component of building a roster for sustained success. It's easy to go find plug and play, but there's a cost associated with that. And so I believe our model of recruiting talented young high school players and then spot recruiting transfer portal players to fill needs until those younger players are able to develop and play is the best way to go.
Do you have any NIL resources to help you track guys on the portal?
We have a collective in place now, but really it's less about the NIL right now at the FCS level for us. It is about making sure, because we're able to get kids on campus. We had some tremendous recruits on campus on Saturday, kids that are offered by other FCS and Group of 5 players. So when those kids come on campus, we want to make sure that they see A&T in the best possible light and that they can say, I can see myself here. And so those are the things that we're focused on, making sure we can provide, because we'll get the kids on campus. We'll get them here. Now it's just going to be making sure that they see that all that A&T has to offer so that they'll come.
Teachable moments, the moment in the end zone where they recover it. I mean, what do you, is it kind of like a snowball thing where things just started going that bad, or what do you say to a young man to kind of, when something like that happens?
Yeah, I mean, we don't blame the players. It's our job to coach the players up. And so apparently we didn't do a good enough job of coaching him how to handle that situation. And, my immediate response to him was keep your head up. It's easy to, for everyone to want to bash him for making a mistake, but he's a true freshman, So again, it's about the development of the players and making sure that, those moments you learn from, that they don't come back to bite you again.
How many did you have here Saturday, Coach? How many recruits?
Total 14, I believe, and of the 14, 7 or 8 high caliber kids that, they'd walk in here and you'd be like, wow, that's what they're supposed to look like.
Coach, in terms of this Campbell game, what do you believe will be the biggest key determining factors in terms of the outcome on Saturday?
It's consistency. If you look at the last 2 games, it's, oh man, that was a great play. And then something happens that's inconsistent. And if you look at the start of Saturday's game, oh wow, that's a great play. Great job, great call. Great job defense of getting the third down stop, giving the offense the ball back. But there's not enough consistency in our play right now. And if we can consistently put a drive together to A, consume time and produce points, and B, defensively become more consistent on third down and in the red zone, we'll win the game, because that's where the games are won and lost. Third down efficiency and then the scoring zones.
Coach, I'm sure at the beginning of the season you guys set goals for this year. As you sit at 1-6 with 5 games left,
Yeah.
just how have those goals changed?
Well, I mean, A, you want to win every game. You plan to win every game. B, our goal was to be in position to compete for a CAA title. Okay, and so that's probably not a realistic goal now. But we have 5 conference games left. So win the next game. And then worry about the next game after that, win the next game.
Coach, after the game, you spoke about culture, and you said that, in your opinion, it had to be built by the players. Can you just kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I think, our job as coaches is to create a vision of what this should look like, and then recruit the players capable of helping craft that vision into a culture where players start to hold each other accountable for their actions or inactions. And the very best teams have a large group of players that hold each other accountable. They set the standard. So Friday night, we had a Aggie football alum come talk to the team. And he talked about the standards that they had during his time here and the accountability that they had for each other. And so when you get that in your program, I believe your program is going to elevate to the next level needed to compete for a championship.
How would you assess your culture right now as it stands?
I think in spite of all the adversity that we faced, I think our kids are doing a great job. They're strong. No one has checked out. As I mentioned, we got young players that are getting the opportunity to step up and compete. And I think our guys are still excited about playing football.
Coach, you talked about consistency and momentum. What are you guys doing in practice, situation-wise, to prevent your guys from, when one mistake happens, when one bad thing happens, from letting it kind of avalanche on you guys?
Yeah, from day one. So we build our practices to simulate every scenario that's going to occur during the course of the game. Tuesday's practices are focused on first and second down and goal line. Wednesday's practices are first and second down review, third down, short yardage, and third and long. Thursday's practices are red zone and black zone. And so we try to make sure we cover all the different down and distance scenarios, all the different field zones. We have 2-minute in the game, need a touchdown. 2-minute in the game, you need a touchdown and a 2-point play. 2-minute in the game, you need a field goal. And so we try to put all these scenarios in place so that our players, know how to play the game, and that they know, hey, here's what coach is going to call in this scenario right here, because we practice it over and over and over.
Coach, what's the black zone?
Black zone is when the ball is backed up, when the offense is on the -5 yard line or tighter. And so it happens, you got the ball on the -1 offense. What are you going to call? Don't line up in shotgun and run inside zone, probably going to get tackled in the end zone.
So, Coach, I mean, at this point, you say you're 2 and I think 16 since the A&T. Last year, you made a change to offense coordinator. Have you considered making any other staff changes before the season's over?
No. I believe in our staff. We got great leaders. Our coaches care about the development of our players. Our coaches have had success coaching. They didn't just all of a sudden not know how to coach, and so I believe in our staff. But as I shared with our staff yesterday, this is a results-oriented business, and it's our job to produce results. And sometimes those results aren't immediate. Sometimes they're not immediate, but we need to see improvement and progress. And so that's where we're focused on getting better.
I hope it's a fair question, but if someone came to the game Saturday and they were disappointed in the outcome and they see the schedule, they question, do we have the right man for the job to lead this football program? What would your response be to that?
Absolutely.
Mine too.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to bring up the older gentleman first. We're going to bring up sophomore Cade Molitor. I think he's been up here before. Cade is going to introduce himself to you, and then the floor is open for questions. Cade?
Glad to see y'all out here today. Appreciate y'all for coming. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for putting me on this platform, allowing me to be here today. And my name's Cade. I'm a business IT major here. I play linebacker, and I'm a sophomore.
Where are you from, Cade?
I'm from Dawsonville, Georgia, a small town most of y'all will probably never, ever hear about.
So, okay, what Coach talked about run fits and there's been an issue with the run. Oh, what are you seeing as far as middle linebacker? What's been one of the issues with this getting to those gaps?
There's really been no issues schematically wise. It's just us. Got to do our 1 of 11. If it's me not getting down to my fit quick enough or if it's something else going on, it's just us. We got to fix it.
Kate, I'm sure it's hard to stay positive when you have a start to the season like this, but what's kind of the message been within the locker room?
We just got to keep going. We have 5 games left. It's not like the season ended yesterday. So it's a blessing that we have 5 more opportunities to go win.
In terms of Campbell, I mean, how would you describe kind of what they've shown on film, the scheme that they run?
Campbell, a good-sized offensive line, pretty good running back. Obviously, they lost a great quarterback who's leading UNLV right now to a college football playoff bid. But, they're still a very good football team, very good run game, and so I'm excited to play them.
In terms of going from Dawsonville, Georgia, I actually did used to cover high school ball in Georgia, so familiar. What has the transition been like from, small town Georgia to Greensboro and playing here at A&T?
I mean, at first it was weird living in a city. First time I've actually seen buildings taller than 3 stories. So, at first it was kind of a little culture shock, but it was really cool. I don't have to drive 30 minutes to go to a Target anymore. So it's cool.
Coach was just talking about the culture of the team and how are you guys policing that yourselves and keeping everything in front of you and not getting sapped into what's happening behind you?
Just the continued message every day is we just got to stay together. We can't turn on each other at this point because it's just going to make everything that's happened worse. We have to stick together and, continue to build this, build the culture as he was talking about.
For those that haven't gotten to see you play, just how would you describe your skill set and how you work within the confines of this defense?
I mean, I just try to do my job. Whatever coach has drawn up for us or whatever gap I need to fill, I try to do what I need to do. I mean, I feel like I've, got a good athletic ability to play in the box from sideline to sideline. So I feel like my game is just kind of, I don't know how to explain that, just a good overall middle linebacker.
As you can see, there are a lot of questions about the team and about your coach, but what makes you guys excited to play for Coach Brown and believe in what the staff is doing?
I mean, it's easy to play for their staff because they believe in you. You know, every day we walk in and they're still pouring into us. They love us. You know, I feel like I could walk into Coach Brown's office or my DC's office any day of the week and just sit down and talk to them for hours. So it's easy to play for guys like that.
Do you feel there were some major scheme changes over the bye week that you guys were able to implement?
I mean, I wouldn't say major, more just working and redoing things that we've done in the past and really cracking down on the nuances of things that we needed to get better at.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate it. Great job.
Appreciate y'all.
Next, we're going to bring up our freshman running back, Daniel Coles. Caught a beautiful touchdown pass in the first quarter on Saturday. Outstanding young man. He's going to introduce himself to you, and then the floor is open for questions. Daniel?
Good afternoon. I'm Daniel Coles, running back, freshman, and I'm a kinesiology major.
Where you from?
Stafford, Virginia.
How was your recruiting process? How did it land you here? Your recruiting process to get you here?
My recruiting process, it was a roller coaster. It had ups and downs. I enjoyed it. Closer to signing day, I graduated high school early. Coach Josh Zeidenberg, he called me up. I got down here on a Thursday, missed class. I loved it. After my OV, I committed on the same weekend.
Daniel, Coach mentioned a lot of recruits were at the game on Saturday. Obviously, with the result, I'm sure it might have scared a few of them away. But what would you say about A&T that would maybe draw them back in?
A&T's great. It's full of love. You're going to enjoy playing this game here. You wouldn't want to miss it.
There's been a lot of running backs to see action this year. Just give me the thought process of when you're just kind of waiting for your turn. You see, unfortunately, some guys went down ahead of you. How do you stay focused and ready?
I wouldn't call it waiting. It's more of a next man up mentality. Our coach, he makes all of us feel the same. He makes all of us feel as like we're the starter. So he builds us and he grinds us that way. So when your number is called, you go in the game and you do what you have to do. Get the job done.
Just to clarify, before I ask another question, sorry. When you say our coach, just to make sure, which coach are you referring to?
Coach Bankins, he's our running back coach here. Yeah.
And in terms of your journey at A&T, just how do you describe what it's been like to play on this football team and the nature of it?
It's great. It's full of love, like I said. We compete at a high level during practice, and we all get opportunities to play. So you can only be blessed and grateful that you do get the opportunity to play because not many people get it.
And then you mentioned your major. What are your plans in terms of how you want to use that and goals for the future?
I've always wanted to be a physical trainer, so I will be taking on the exercise science field and the kinesiology major.
Hey, Daniel, tell us about your high school career.
High school was great. I was first team All-State, 4 years of high school. I started both ways. I had a pretty good handful of offers. It was fun.
What you played running back on offense? What you play on defense?
I played safety.
You had like 1,000-yard seasons. What? All state in Virginia. Come on.
My freshman year, I didn't have a 1,000-yard season. But after that, sophomore, junior, senior year, I was pretty much going for 3,000.
You were a man, in other words.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Coach mentioned you were in high school just 11 months ago. Fast forward almost a year now. How special is it that you're able to see some meaningful snaps on the field?
It's great. And like they always say, it's opportunity. Opportunity is given, opportunity is chosen. So when you are on the field, you just got to do what you got to do and do your 111.
Have you happened to get a 40 time recently?
No, I haven't. But the last time I ran it, I clocked a 4.5 flat.
you just walk us through that touchdown on the wheel route? Just, what were you looking for? Did you know you were getting the ball on that play?
I did. We run that play a lot in practice. I always score on it. I saw that they rolled their safety to the middle of the field, brought the corner in, linebackers bumped. I looked at Fonby, I said, "You better throw me the ball." And we scored.
That's your first score of the season, right?
Yes, sir.
So what are you looking forward to going for these last 5 games?
Keep playing, keep grinding, just keep getting better.
Thank you, Dean. Appreciate it, man.
Guys.
All right, it is time for lunch. So go ahead and jump in line, and then we will start our radio show. Thank you.